Hi everyone. I decided to make a video, a different one. I don't usually make two videos in one day, but I was watching another video on YouTube right now after having taken a nap that my boyfriend sent me, and I started having my ideas come up, seeing a title of like the video that I know I need to make to share my story, and the more and more that I wasn't doing that, my throat chakra was like getting bothered. I still feel it a little bit now. So I was like, I knew I had to come on here and kind of discuss my story and everything. But I had a really, really intense, beautiful conversation with my uncle today, hence the title. It was a really, really intense conversation, and I could hold my ground pretty much the entire time, and it just eventually flourished into something, beautiful. So I just kind of wanted to share that story with you all. For anyone who doesn't know me, I pretty much started my spiritual awakening journey about a year ago, and a year and a half, I can't talk, a year and a half ago, when I met my boyfriend. And it was like pretty initially, like, I think at first, like, I didn't believe him or his beliefs or anything like that. And the more and more that I did, it felt like a knowing, like a true knowing, the truth of why we're here on earth, the truth of, everything really. And so I started that quite some time ago, and I've essentially been living my life, doing the things that I want. I have a lot of beliefs that most people don't agree with, being that I believe I am always supported by the universe. I believe that this earth is beautiful in love and light in so many beautiful ways, and our reality is merely an extension of our consciousness, right? We are always perceiving at the vibration that we are. And so being someone who I essentially changed most of my life to live my life around this new spiritual awakening and everything that I now believe, has definitely been triggering and bothersome, and all the things to so many of my family members, maybe even friends, I'm not entirely sure, but and I've had to navigate through that. I've had to navigate through sharing my journey, sharing my story. I know people will never understand me, but I can be an example to everyone that the life I live is just as possible for them. And it just means choosing yourself. It just means choosing to be happy no matter what. And so, getting to the title of this video, I was essentially explaining my beliefs to my uncle, and throughout, I don't even know how long the conversation lasted. I would assume anywhere between like 30 minutes to an hour, maybe. Throughout this conversation, we are very different in our belief systems, and he essentially, called me worthless and a burden, and was disappointed in me and my life choices. And I don't take those personally, because anything that somebody feels about you is that in which they feel about themselves, and you can allow yourself to have that much more compassion for the pain they carry, to live a life rooted in not choosing yourself. And I don't know his life personally. I've only know that which I interact with. But anytime someone is upset or triggered or bothered or upset or any of the things, negative things, it's always revealing something within them that they can't love within themselves. And so, yeah, I mean, it hurt. It's not good to hear those things by any means. But when you know the truth of who you are, you don't take it personally. I'm not invalidating that, like, I felt upset about it, or that, like, you know, it was not the best thing to hear, but I don't believe I'm worthless. I don't believe I'm unworthy. I don't believe I'm a burden. I don't believe any of those things. And, you know, throughout the conversation, I just kind of felt like I don't want to be having this conversation. And in that process, like, I don't know if that was my ego kind of saying, like, I don't want to listen to this bullshit, but something was obviously still keeping me there. And so, you know, I listened to his way of thinking, his thoughts, his ideas. I tried explaining my way of thinking and the law of attraction and how I believe reality works, how I believe people create their own circumstances to overcome them. Everything is a learning opportunity if you allow it to be, if you choose for it to be. And just like explaining the way I've shifted my entire life. I was in an abusive relationship for almost 4 years before meeting my current boyfriend, and I didn't have the self-worth or the self-love to leave that situation. Hence why I stayed in it for 4 years. I was a vibrational match to somebody who abused me physically, emotionally, mentally, because I didn't feel deserving of love to begin with. And when I got into the relationship I'm now in, and receiving that love and all the things from the most perfect, incredible, amazing man I could have ever dreamed of, it allowed me to have that reflection and step into what it really means to choose me, what it really means to have so much self-love and self-devotion and care and all the things. You know, I could stay in having been in an abusive relationship and replaying that in my mind, or I could accept it. I could allow it. I could look at that person now years later and understand that that person was only hurting me because they didn't have any love for themselves, and neither did I. I was a vibrational match to attract him into my life. And so when you really take accountability for everything that happens in your life, I'm not saying you ask for it, but I'm saying you can either choose to stay in the negative or the positive. Am I choosing to stay in holding a grudge, being fearful, thinking everybody's, you know, out to get me, or thinking that I will always be abused for the rest of my life? Or do I stay in the positive, which is, I know that I experienced that situation and I don't invalidate anything that I went through. It was a traumatizing experience for me, but I don't believe in living in fear beyond that experience. I don't believe in not choosing happiness. I don't believe in not choosing myself. My frequency now takes care of everything. Absolutely everything. I don't even believe I'm a vibrational match to abuse, you know, any of the things. I don't believe that. And if anything ever happened to me, I know that it's happening to teach me something. But I don't believe I may ever experience physical abuse anymore, because I have so much love and joy and peace in my heart that I could never attract that vibration again. We are all energy, we are all vibration, we are atoms. This is all science, like proven science. And I was a vibrational match to someone who physically abused me because I disregarded myself. I disregarded myself. And, you know, I've had experiences in my childhood of being physically abused too. And I believe I chose all those situations to have that much more love and compassion for everyone in my life. Absolutely everyone in my life, no matter what they've ever done to me. I truly believe every experience that I've ever had is one that's there to allow me to forgive, accept, love, cherish, and be a light to those people that don't already recognize it within themselves. That was a little tangent I got off, but so yeah, I had this conversation with him, and, you know, as someone who is spiritually awakened, you know, you can understand that when people call you names or demean you in any way, it's truly coming from a place of not being able to love themselves in that situation. You know, I could love myself if I was homeless. I could love myself if I had absolutely nothing to my name. You know, I sold everything. I got rid of my apartment. I left my job. I quit my job. I left the city that I moved to and that I lived in for 7 years. I did all the things. And in all of that, I just recognized more of me without any of the material things. I only owned my car and clothing. And I felt like I had to lose all of that in order to get to the truth of me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here in this moment talking to you. And so I love myself in any circumstance, in any situation. I don't have judgment toward myself if I somehow ended up on the street tomorrow. I don't believe I'm a vibrational match to allow for that to happen in my reality, because I think I'm supported no matter what. But even in the instance that I somehow was homeless and living on the street, I still believe I could be supported with food, water, shelter, absolutely everything that I need. And it's all just an inner knowing. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that. You can't see any of this. I can't make you feel how knowing of and sure of me I am, how sure of every experience or situation I ever have dealt with, am dealing with, or will deal with. It's all in knowing that everything is perfect no matter what. And so, you know, we eventually, back to the conversation, we eventually got to the point where he could kind of understand where I was coming from, and resonating with it a little bit more. And, you know, he asked me for a hug. And of course, I love giving hugs and being loving and everything like that. And I hugged him, and he just started crying. And I know that my soul was meant to have that conversation with him, to be an example that you can choose the love and the happiness despite whatever circumstances are happening, despite all of it. You know, I think I hugged him for like at least 5 minutes. I didn't want to let go of him until he let go of me. And it was such a beautiful moment. I had no judgment. I had no hatred. I had no anything toward him, because the me that has hatred or judgment or invalidation of his beliefs and his experiences and what reality has shown him is just that I would be invalidating within myself. I believe we are all connected beings, and so that which I invalidate in anyone else is that which I invalidate in myself. And I just wanted to hold space for him. I just wanted for him to know how amazing he is, how that conversation and those words, although they can be hurtful, I don't hold a grudge. I know that everyone projecting anything onto me is that which they are projecting from their own inner soul. And their body just wants love. When he broke down, when I hugged him, his body just craved love. It just, we could argue for hours and hours and hours, but it's not my job to make him believe what I believe. It's not my job to change his life anyway. It's not my job to do anything other than be loving. And the more and more I realize that, the more and more I find the power within myself to overcome every situation I've ever dealt with, ever. I just have that much more love. The relationship that I discussed, having been in an abusive relationship, and I can look at that now with so much love for him, not romantic or sexual love, but the love in knowing that his soul was just wanting to connect to me, but his reality, his experiences, he didn't know how to do that. Anyone who abuses is that who has been abused. Anyone who assaults is that who has been assaulted. Anyone who molests is that who has molested. Anyone who judges is that who judges themselves. So, when you understand the way people work and really everyone is only projecting from their own experiences, their own life, their own, everything they've ever dealt with. And I mean this 100%, that I will never understand anybody's life ever, because it's not my own. But all I can do is be a space of listening, love, and just peace. I am here to hold that space for people who don't know how to hold it for themselves. I am here to show people that you don't have to believe that you're unworthy without money, or that you're unworthy without a place to call your own. Every place is a place to call your own. I don't believe any of these things, and that only is my devotion to myself. That only is my soul choosing to live in love and happiness and light and peace and joy and abundance and being so grateful for this life. No matter what experiences or circumstances come my way and will continue to come my way or have come my way, I can look at it with compassion, love, understanding. I was in a situation a few weeks ago where somebody cut me, two cars cut me off on the road. And before, the me that was like in hatred and like judging them would have honked my horn and said something to them, and they also had their windows rolled down. But I just let them go, because you need to get there faster than I do. I'm not in a rush. I'm simply not in a rush. It means more to you than it does to me. So, when you kind of live that way of like, I don't have to hold a grudge. I don't have to be spiteful. I don't have to live in hate or fear or worry or stress, and I'm not saying any situations can't be that way. But on the contrary is always a flip side of how to look at any and every situation. always. We live in a human experience on the basis of polarity and contrast. We don't know love without loss. We don't know happiness without sadness. We don't know any feeling, emotion, experience without the complete polar opposite. And so, as for anyone this video finds, what does it look like to just be happy no matter what your circumstances look like, or to just be that more loving even though you're having a bad day? And I'm not saying don't listen to those emotions or invalidate that in any way, but what does it look like to choose happiness despite how your physical reality appears to be? Because I promise, the moment you choose to be happy in the situation you don't prefer is the moment the universe recognizes that and gives you what you do prefer. That is the law of attraction. So, to my uncle, if you watch this, I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful for the experience I had with you. To you too, because I think your soul needed to be in the same exact place I was in at the same exact time, to have that conversation and to feel those emotions and to know that, to know it all and to experience that. So this is not an attack on him in any way. If anything, I'm like so grateful that I had this experience with him. And I was confirmed in that because this morning I walked to Panda Express. It's like by my house. And I was just seeing the word panda. So I was like, okay, let me go to Panda Express because I was craving it. And, so I walked to Panda Express. I'm eating my food. I ended up doing 2 different orders. And so I got 2 fortune cookies. And the one I pretty instantaneously knew, like, oh my God, like, it was like, your kindness will lead you to success. And like, I know that. But, it was like really cool to see that reflection. And then I had a second one that I'll read right now. And I didn't understand it at first. And I was like, I don't really know what this is about, but we'll see what happens. And so the second one was, you have a fantastic opportunity, or you may have a fantastic opportunity soon. Be open to it. And that just resonated so much with me. I was on the phone with my boyfriend and I was telling him about my day, and I read him the fortune cookies, and then I just had a light bulb, an aha moment of, oh my fucking God, dude. The universe is so funny. The universe is so funny in knowing that it was going to put me in a situation like that, where him and I have such opposing beliefs, and it was an intense situation. It was not one that I ideally prefer, but some part of me said, stay in this. Just stay in this. I promise you what will come out of it will be worth it. And it was exactly that. It was connecting to him with love at the end of that conversation, and being a space to hold him, to allow him to cry in my arms, to allow him to feel his emotions. I feel like I'm getting like choked up even saying this. Allowing him to feel his emotions and not holding anything against him. Having so much compassion and empathy for someone who is maybe not in a position to experience happiness and love at the moment, but being an example that it exists. And I just couldn't have asked for a better opportunity to connect to him and connect to myself, and to be a light leader, to be someone who really, really believes in spreading love and kindness and compassion and all the things that everyone is capable of doing. But it begins with you. So as you continue your day, or as you can, every day that passes, what does it look like to choose you a little more? I think that's like such a big fucking theme of 2026. Like choosing you, like choosing you, you know. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for every opportunity, and I only wish love and joy and peace and abundance and happiness on any and everyone in this entire universe. I send love to any and everyone in this entire universe. And I mean that with every atom of my being, truly. I don't care about your circumstance. I don't care about how much money you have. I don't care about what it is you materialistically own or don't own. I don't care about any of that. I know you are worthy of love simply because you exist. And I hope that I can be that example for any and everyone else, that all it is deciding to choose you and be happy and joyful and loving no matter what life brings you. Because life will be a roller coaster of challenge, and your life journey will be that which your soul needs to experience in order to learn and grow and transcend everything, transcend generational things, heal, help, service, support everyone if you choose. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna send this to you. If you watch this, I'm glad you made it to the end, but I'm so grateful for everything, and I love everyone. I love absolutely everyone, and life is just so beautiful. It's all the way you look at it. So, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your time.